Hello, Year 4, it's Miss Standring here, ready for another English lesson. This is our second lesson of 15 lessons. Once in a Lifetime by John Gullidge. Okay, before we begin, I want you to make sure that you have got in front of you your story map from yesterday's lesson. We're going to need these story maps to help remind us about the main parts from the story. Go and get your story map and then press play and we can continue. Press pause now. Great, we are ready to begin and we just love doing this in class. We are going to step it. My turn, step it. Your turn. My turn, step it. Your turn. And so when we are stepping it, we are taking a step and then we are making an action for each of the main parts of the story. This will help the story go into our long-term memory and it's going to make it a lot easier for us when we come to do our writing if we really know the story. Okay, I want us to have a think about the film we watched yesterday. What were the main parts of the story? And I want you to think, what actions could you create to show each of these main parts of the story? Now, before we continue any further, I think it would be a really good idea for you to watch the film again. So what you are going to do is you are going to pause the video and then you are going to watch the film again. And you can watch it more than once if that helps you to really understand what's happening. And then I want you to come back and continue this lesson. Press pause now. Okay, super. So hopefully you've watched the video again, the film again, and you have a really good understanding of all the things that happened. And now we are going to step it. And when we step it, we think about the first main part of the story. And we think about an action that we could do. And I think really that one of the first main parts of the story was when the rudder fell off the boat and he is reaching out. You can have a look there. There's the second picture and the rudder is falling off the boat and he's reaching out for it. So I'm going to start with my first step, reaching out and trying to get that rudder. I want you all to stand up now and I want you to stand up nice and straight and then take a big step and then I want you to reach out as if you are grabbing that rudder. Really reach out and try and get it, but you haven't got it, it's gone. And I want you to hold that pose. And that would be your first step. Then you can take your next step and look, the flying turtles are coming. And so he gets his telescope, doesn't he? And he holds his telescope up to his eyes and he looks in amazement as he sees the flying turtles coming towards him. So that could be your next pose, looking through a telescope, looking with an amazed face as the flying turtles are coming towards you. Great. I'm going to stop there with my help because I want you to think about the actions that you are going to use. And then we will continue the lesson. Okay, off you go. Go and step out the story. Press pause now. Brilliant, you're back, and how is that? Did you have lots of fun? I really wish I could have seen some of the actions that you came up with because you always do such a great job of that in class. And now you must really, really understand and know the story. And so that means that you are ready to speak it. My turn, speak it, your turn. My turn, speak it, your turn. And this is when we're going to retell the story out loud and in our own words. Okay, so let's have a think about when we are speaking it. I want us to really think about using some descriptive words and phrases to make our story more interesting. And I want us to use expression and movement to really help to engage our audience, because we're going to be telling them a story. Right, it is my turn first. I'm going to retell the story, but I haven't written the story already. I'm just retelling it from my memory about what happened. Okay, I'm going to begin. Once upon a time, there was an enormous ship sailing through the sky, and on that ship there was a very brave explorer looking for new lands. However, he came across a terrible problem. Not only was there very little wind to move the boat, but the rudder had fallen off the boat down through the dense cloud towards the earth. Oh no! What was he going to do without his rudder? He couldn't turn and steer his ship. It seemed to be a disastrous situation. However, from the distance, out of nowhere, the most spectacular sight, ginormous flying sea turtles coming towards his boat. Jack looked to the sky. Thank you for this great opportunity, he exclaimed, and then without hesitation, he ran to the front of his ship to get a rope. He would have to act really quickly if he was to save himself from this horrendous situation of floating in the sky, not moving anywhere. And so he took his rope and he turned it into a lasso, and he swung it out carefully and strongly with lots of power, and first time, yes, and managed to hook it around the turtle's neck. This was just what he needed to get on the move and to get away from where he had stayed for days and days. And as they moved further and farther apart, he followed behind, but disaster struck yet again. The rope, it was an old rope. It had suddenly just didn't have the strength to hold on and to be pulled along the sky in the great big boat, and it snapped. Off the turtles flew, leaving him behind, abandoned once again in the ship that was going nowhere. But, alas, from behind, something else was coming. Yes, it was another turtle. It was moving slower than the other flying turtles. It was smaller, but it was coming right beneath him. And if he was lucky enough, he may just be able to jump onto the back of that flying turtle. Without hesitation, he launched himself through the sky and down, safe landing on the turtle's back, and off he flew on his next adventure. That is my story, and that is how I told it. Now it is your turn to speak it. I want you to retell the story of Once in a Lifetime by John Gullidge. You might choose to have a similar story to mine, or you might want to change it a bit. That's up to you. It's your story. I want you to press pause and say your story, and then press play and continue the lesson. Press pause now. Amazing. And how was that? I bet you have got an excellent understanding of the story now. I really wish I could have heard your stories. So that is the end of today's lesson. Tomorrow we're going to continue Once in a Lifetime. And if you want to, you could even record yourself retelling the story. You could send it into the class email for your teachers to listen to. Or if you filmed it, we could watch you performing the story. Okay, well done for joining in with today's lesson. We're very proud of all the hard work you're doing at home and showing great independence with your learning. Take care, and we'll be back tomorrow.